Hey Angel, welcome back to Your Own University TV, where we're going to talk about what sets you apart from everybody else in the world, because you matter. Today we are going to talk about vulnerability, because vulnerability is one thing that when you accept it and you utilize it and the aspects of it, it will propel you forward into the life that you literally were designed to live. Welcome back. So we are going to talk about vulnerability, and vulnerability is juicy in the sense that when you get vulnerable, when you get to that place where you can see your shadows, when you can step into looking at who you are or who you've been told you are, and then catapult yourself forward into who you want to be, things really start shifting in your life in an amazing, incredible way. And so that is what I want to do for you today. So with my clients, we really dive into their soul essence, your natural abilities, your purpose. And to do that, we have to sift through all of these vulnerabilities, all of these things that are just like, I don't want to admit that about myself. I don't want to even look at that. And oftentimes the ego will even tell you that you're not lying. And then a couple years later, when you're ready to up level, you'll be like, oh yeah. So once, I'll tell you a little story about this vulnerability for myself. So once I had a coach. So I would come with like the most vulnerable pieces of what was happening in my life, and I just spew them all over her. But that was actually my comfort zone from being in therapy for so long. So doing the celebrations and doing the good news and doing the I believe in myself was really, really uncomfortable, actually. And I didn't know how to do anything else. So I would just bring the problem after the problem after the problem. So this looked like vulnerability, right? To the outside world, it looked like vulnerability. But really, it wasn't vulnerable for me. Because vulnerable for me would have been leaning into my pleasure. Vulnerable for me would have been saying how well I did at something. Vulnerable for me was looking in the mirror and saying, I love you and you are worth my attention. That's what vulnerable for me looked like. So oftentimes we think that vulnerability is like a negative thing. It's some place that we are insecure, that we are embarrassed about, that we are feeling negative about. However, that's not always the case. So I just want to out that right now about vulnerability. You can be vulnerable about the most positive things. I mean, think about orgasm. Like when we really let go and let that receive, ladies, like that's the most vulnerable thing ever. And how many people don't get to have that experience because they are unwilling to enter into the vulnerability of bliss? So my first question to you is, where are you holding back your vulnerability? Where are you giving it a negative spin instead of a positive spin? And where can you step more into your pleasure, your joy, your creation, your natural essence of your soul? So this is what I do with my clients. And we come in and there's all this gunk, right? There's all this shit from your past. And you're like, I did this wrong and I did that wrong. And here's my ugly little selves. And that's beautiful. It is vulnerable, right? Because people can judge us for those things. People might get the wrong idea. They might abandon us. They might leave us for those ideas. However, often the case, people bond over their dramas and traumas. Have you noticed that? That you might meet somebody and then you're like telling each other, oh, this happened to me and that happened to me and oh, me too, and right? And then you bond over those traumas. But then you start telling them, hey, I kicked ass at work today. Oh, I did this. And they're like, ooh, you're stuck up. I don't like that. Well, that's like twisted. It's upside down. So I'd like to untwist that for you and with you today. and allow you to step into a vulnerability that is going to not only flip your switch, but also help you manifest more of what you actually want. So the good things in life, and stop focusing so much on the things that you don't want in life. And this has been a really big lesson for me and a huge lesson for most of my clients. So first and foremost, those negative little insights, those little things that you're just embarrassed about, that you're vulnerable about, that are like eating at your soul. You have to, and I really mean have to, step into those and say, why am I embarrassed about this? What's the story behind this? And go into that acceptance piece. So if you haven't watched the episode on acceptance, it's a few episodes back, go and watch that video and let me know what you think. But you go into acceptance of that, and then you can shift it. Those are the vulnerabilities that you may or may not share. I want you to look at, where are you vulnerable in your life of things that you did really good? So we can look at the celebration episode there. Where are you doing things that you're really proud of, that you feel great about yourself, that you're not sharing because you have some vulnerability? Maybe you got a raise. Maybe you got a great job. Maybe you have opened your heart to some new experience. Maybe you've created a book. Maybe you've created something. Maybe you have made a connection with someone that you're like just holding back and holding on to because there's a vulnerability attached to it of celebration, a positive vulnerability. If this is the case, I want to just edge you forward a little bit. Because when you begin to share these positive vulnerabilities, when you begin to bond with people over your wins and your celebrations and your conquering like yesness, that's when, as a universe, as a whole collective earth, we are going to elevate humanity to different heights, to new heights. But first we have to shift from the vulnerability being bonding over the vulnerability of the negativity, of the crap, of the Me Too stories, of the, how we fucked up stories, and move into the vulnerability of the positive stuff, the how well you've done things, the I am proud of myself things, and feel into that. They're both vulnerable. Both of them you're gonna get like things in your stomach. Both of them you might hit against fear and resistance. Both of them you might just wrap yourself into an awareness of, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't think I can actually do this. It's like stepping onto stage and speaking for the first time, or singing for the first time, or acting for the first time, or standing up and giving a toast for the first time. It's the most vulnerable thing that we can do, is stand up and do something positive. Is that crazy? Is that nuts? No, it is like, but that's it. Public speaking is the number one fear that people have because it's so vulnerable. But most of the time when we're public speaking, we're sharing our story, we're sharing the good stuff, we're sharing the win of it all, right? Okay, so here's the ticket for today's lesson. 1, there is the awareness of vulnerability, right? And you have the catastrophe vulnerability, the human stuff, bad news insights vulnerability, and you have the positive wins, celebration, I kick ass, wonderful, look what I conquered, look what I overcame vulnerability, right? Which one can you accept that you bond with people over more? And can you flip that switch to focus on where your wins, your celebrations, your ahas, your yeses in your life? Because that's going to shift your reality like immediately. Then from that perspective, how can you really lift other people up and share with them? Because that's when you start raising humanity, and it gets vulnerable, right? Because we gotta have to start it ourselves. So it gets vulnerable. You might even feel insecure telling somebody how much you appreciate them, how much you love them. Have you ever stopped from telling somebody how much you appreciate and love them? I know I did, especially in my younger years. But it took me a while to learn how to encourage, learn how to just tell people, dude, you friggin' rock. I love you. Thank you so much for being you. And now it's kind of rolls off my tongue, but at first I was like, oh, and still sometimes in certain relationships, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, can I really do this? And it's weird because we're building somebody up, but we can easily tell somebody to fuck off. Fuck you, I don't know, right? But do you ever go, you're an amazing driver, oh my goodness, you rock? No, like that doesn't happen. How often can you do that? So we're seeing the vulnerability. Which way are we going? You're shifting that focus to the positive vulnerability. You're going to start pushing those elements of your positive vulnerability. You're going to start building people up, including yourself up, and finding ways to bond with your community. Build connections of positive vulnerability. And that is today's episode. So I hope that you enjoyed this flip the switch, this kind of twist on vulnerability, and how vulnerability can help you literally start manifesting more of what you want in your life instantaneously by simply shifting your focus onto the positive, onto the wins, and celebrating those wins that you get with other people. Thank you so much for being a part of Your Own University. If you have not got our 365 Days of Love, sign up for our newsletter at Your Own University. Do it now. If you are interested in becoming a holistic health coach and learning about the 6 personal power zones and learning how to motivate people, how to help people step back into their power, how to re-embody their natural essence in their soul, then please go ahead and apply at Your Own University to be in our next program for holistic health coaches. We also have other amazing programs over there to check out, and I am a personal coach, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and check that out. I love you so much. I will talk to you soon. Give us a thumbs up, tell us what you think about this video, and please help us get the word out by sharing it with your friends. Thank you for watching Your Own University TV. This is a little segment about what we do at Your Own University and some of the courses, classes, and ways that we're here to serve you. Hello, you are about to embark on an amazing journey as a holistic health coach, changing lives in a way that is absolutely foundational for the health of our country and our world. I love this program because it is a holistic approach. You're going to learn things about being a wellness coach, a mindset coach, be an emotional intelligence coach, how to be a spiritual coach and work with the soul level and etheric level, relationship coach, and you're going to learn how to be a business and personal coach, which is so friggin' cool. There's no other program out there that certifies you in all of these areas using tools like EFT, NLP, nutrition, yoga, spiritual intelligence, meditation, and nonviolent communication and business breakthroughs, as well as just the foundation of good coaching and coaching methodology. This is going to blow your mind. There's 2 different tracks to this. There's a 6-month track for people that are already coaches, or maybe you're a therapist and you want to add coaching to your therapeutic toolbox. This is a 6-month track where you learn the holistic coaching methodology of the 6 personal power zones. Then there's the year track. And this is for you if you want to form a business, do a business, and become a master coach at the master coach level, meaning that you are going to coach over 100 hours of coaching in your practicum. This is basically getting your master's degree in coaching. And so if this sounds really great to you, go ahead and apply below. We'll have a one-on-one conversation, making sure that you're just perfect for this program, and we'll move forward. Talk to you soon. Bye.